Hi, my name's Richard Duffy. I am the SAP Business One Product Evangelist, and I'm part of the SAP Global Small and Mid-Size Enterprise team. On behalf of everybody at SAP, I'd like to welcome you to today's presentation. I'm going to give you an overview of the very latest addition to the SAP Business One product family, and that's SAP Business One Analytics, powered by SAP HANA, which is a new analytics solution which leverages the very latest in-memory technology. So I'd like to set the scene by talking a little bit about the background that drove the decision to produce the SAP Business One Analytics platform and what the thinking is that's driven the development of this platform. Fundamentally, the SAP Business One Analytics platform has been built in response to the feedback that we've heard loud and clear from small business owners. And we heard that small business owners need an analytics platform that's not necessarily a full-scale business intelligence offering, but has a number of key components. Why? Because we know, as a result of working with more than 35,000 small businesses around the world, we know that small businesses, just like medium-sized businesses and large enterprises, are now in the situation where they're dealing with massively growing volumes of data. They want high flexibility in the way that they interpret that data, and there's a demand for real-time analysis so that they can get an immediate answer to any question in a way that's cost-effective and in a way that makes sure that they are working with current and complete information. So our answer to that was to make sure that we built an analytics platform that met a couple of these key criteria that you as small businesses told us you wanted. You wanted to make sure that it had ready-to-use content so that out of the box you could start taking advantage of the analytics platform and not have to go through extensive design and deployment phases. You also told us that you wanted to be able to do ad hoc analysis and do what we've called interactive analytics, where you can use the tools that you're familiar with today, like Microsoft Excel, and be able to define yourself exactly what the metrics were that you wanted to see. And you wanted to then be able to drill down further as new questions came up. We also heard that you wanted superior performance, and the expectation of users today is that you have real-time access. You ask a question, you get the answer straight away. What our existing customers also told us was that they wanted to make sure that there was a seamless user experience, that the way that they used SAP Business One and the facilities and the functionality in SAP Business One for doing reporting and analytics today, they didn't want to have to change that in a major way. They wanted innovation without disruption, and that's what we've done. The two remaining things which are absolutely key are ease of use and rapid implementation. And of course, because we're providing that ready-to-use content, we're able to deliver that. And you also wanted affordability. You wanted affordability so you could take advantage of these new technologies but not have to break the bank. So that's what we've focused on as we've gone ahead and built our analytics platform for SAP Business One. What are the key components of our analytics portfolio? Well, in response to those requests, we focused on delivering a seamless user experience. We've also focused on delivering what we call a semantic layer. Now, if you haven't heard this expression before, what a semantic layer does is it basically takes all of the technical details of the databases and the data structures, and it buries those behind some very simple names, some very simple business objects, if you like. For example, when you're raising sales orders and invoices in SAP Business One, at any given point in time, the data is being stored in 6 or 7 different tables, depending on whether or not you've got multiple locations, whether or not you've got serial numbers and batch numbers, and all that kind of thing. Now, when you're building your reporting, you don't want to worry about having to make sure that you pull all that information from those different tables and how those tables join to one another. So the purpose of the semantic layer is we just create an object called sales orders. And all of that information in the background is hidden from you, and you just get presented that core information. So quick explanation of what the semantic layer is, and we've spent a lot of time making sure we enhance that semantic layer. The third area we've focused on is building that analytical content. And you're going to see some of these areas in the demonstration that I'm going to do in a little while, where we've built some of those analytical cubes that make it easy for you to be able to start performing your job role with that pre-built content. We've also provided the interactive analysis, and that interactive analysis is driven by Microsoft Excel. We're utilizing functionality in Excel that many people are very familiar with today, and that's pivot tables. So we've given you that Microsoft Excel pivot table based front end onto a lot of that analytical content. The fifth key area that we focused on is we have taken a new groundbreaking technology development that was built by SAP originally for our large enterprise customers, and we've taken that and we've used it to build our analytics solution. And that is our SAP HANA in-memory technology. What this is, it's a new way of storing your data, and it's a new way of then taking that data when you're wanting to run your queries and retrieve information and storing it in a row-based database rather than a column-based database. And taking that data, and rather than having to retrieve it from an application cache or having to retrieve it from a hard drive, we're actually storing that data in memory, and that's resulting in performance increases in the hundreds to thousands of times faster than traditional database access. And what does this fundamentally deliver? It gives us the ability to deliver real-time access to your transactional data. So they're the 5 areas that we've focused on with the SAP Business One Analytics powered by SAP HANA. This is fundamentally an evolution for SAP Business One Analytics, and let me explain to you why. Today, with SAP Business One, we offer, sitting on top of our relational database management system, we offer the capability, obviously, for you to enter in your transactions, and that gets stored in all of these tables. That's our database layer, and that gets stored in Microsoft SQL Server. What we've then done is, on top of that, with SAP Business One version 8.8, with the 8.8 release family, we've built an aggregation layer, which is our Business One integration framework server cache. And that's what we use to retrieve data into our dashboards today, the dashboards that you're familiar with when you use the SAP Business One 8.8 cockpit. Sitting on top of that, we've built a semantic layer. If you're using Excel Reporter or you're using Crystal Reports today, you're familiar with using that basic semantic layer that we have. And then, of course, from a client perspective, how do you access that information? Well, you use it via SAP Crystal Reports, or you use it via the SAP Crystal Dashboard design that you've either not knowingly been using, but you have been using it when you've used those dashboards, or maybe you've even built some dashboards of your own. So the next step in that technology evolution is across to utilizing that HANA database. This is designed for customers who have massive data analysis requirements, and we know that for small businesses, there are many small businesses out there who are working with large amounts of data. Now, sometimes it takes a little while for that to build up, but I know of customers that I've personally worked with where they have built to a point where they've got 50 gigabytes of data in the space of 2.5 years. And the reason why they have that is because they're heavily involved in transactions, and they then want to do analysis on those transactions. So what do? We use the HANA database and we take that transactional data and we replicate it from the SAP Business One database, which is running in SQL Server, and we bring it across into HANA. Sitting on top of that, we've then built these SAP HANA views, which, if you're familiar with business intelligence, you might know of a similar concept, which is your online analytical processing cubes. Now, these are easy to consume and they use business-oriented terms because they're represented in our semantic layer. By running on top of HANA, that gives us the ability to deliver speed and scale, but at the same time, incredible flexibility, which you'll see in some of the interactive analysis and ad hoc analytics. And the analytics clients sitting on top of that are SAP Crystal Dashboard Design, SAP Crystal Reports, and Microsoft Excel. So you can see that what we're delivering is seamless. We're delivering the same tools that you're used to using today with SAP Business One, and we are taking that transactional data across into HANA so you don't ever have to worry about getting that data. There's no extract, transform, and load process that you normally have to worry about. And even the model of deploying this SAP Business One Analytics solution is made easy because SAP HANA and our analytics engine is delivered to you as an appliance. What do I mean by an appliance? The software and the hardware is delivered together, pre-configured, and all you do is plug it into your existing network and attach it to your existing SAP Business One deployment. So let's talk about the benefits. Well, SAP Business One Analytics delivers in-memory technology and it delivers analytics innovations without disruption to your business. There are benefits for both our existing customers and new customers, and we're going to talk about that. We deliver the seamless user experience, the semantic layer, the interactive analysis, the superior performance, and the new analytics content. We do that by moving very, very quickly and easily from the traditional model today that I just talked about, running on SQL Server, across to what we call the SAP Business One Analytics Server, where you had one server managing everything. You had the SAP Business One client and 3 tools for accessing that information. Now we're bringing that data seamlessly across into the Analytics Server, which has 5 key components: the underlying SAP HANA database, the Business One real-time replication services, which is constantly pulling your data across from SAP Business One, the Tomcat server, which is an open source application that serves up all of the user interface and some of the business logic behind the SAP HANA database. That is what we use to build our administration layer, and also it serves up the content in the semantic layer. Sitting on top of that is the SAP HANA Studio, which either you as a customer or your partner can utilize to build new OLAP cubes. SAP Business One Analytics, powered by SAP HANA, is going into ramp up in February of 2012 together with our version 8.82, and we expect that it will go into general availability in the latter part of 2012. The product will be made available in restricted shipment, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we progress through the rest of today's presentation. What I'd like to do now is take you through a couple of demonstrations to show you exactly the power of SAP HANA and what we've done with it as part of this development process that we've gone through to build this new product. If you think about it today, what are you working on? You're working on SAP Business One, you're using the dashboards, you're using the cockpit, and what you can see here is exactly an example of that, where you have an end user who's accessing that information, and that information is coming from the SAP Business One SQL Server. In the future, When we plug in the SAP Business One Analytics server, the in-memory reports will run from the Business One menu, the same way your current reports do. Your new in-memory dashboards will run from the Business One cockpit, the same way your existing dashboards do. And your enterprise search will run as part of the normal Business One application, the way that it does today, except with significantly enhanced functionality, speed, and performance. Now I'm going to take you through a demonstration. Now, a quick point. SAP HANA is so fast, it's quite difficult to do some demonstrations. So what I'm going to try and do is explain to you what you're going to see. We'll then go through the demonstration, and then we'll quickly review what it was that you did see. So in this demonstration, I'm going to give you a quick overview of all of those things that I just talked about, this seamless user interface. What you're looking at now is the standard SAP Business One user interface. And you'll see it looks exactly the same, with one exception. What you'll now see in the user interface is we now have this new area called Interactive Analysis. Here in this dashboard, you'll now see that it says Service Call, so it's the same dashboard we use for service calls today, except it's flagged as being the HANA-based dashboard, so it is much, much faster. And then up here we have our enterprise search, where you can go and you can do your data retrieval and your data lookup. So let's dive into the demonstration, and I'm going to take you quickly through each one of these key areas. So the first thing you'll notice is when I'm accessing data in the dashboards, it is an instantaneous response. Here's our reports. If I dive in, you'll now see I have a report, and again this is flagged as being a HANA report. I'm able to put in my parameters for doing an open document list, putting in my starting date, my ending date, specify my customer code, generate my report, and instantaneously that information is rendered in Crystal Reports for me, much, much faster than happens today. The second area is the interactive analysis. Let's take a look at a budget analysis. You'll see this now works with pivot tables inside Microsoft Excel. I pick my budget scenario, my budget date, and my GL account hierarchy. I can then use standard functionality in Excel and start drilling out onto that information. Then when I start adding in my measures and my dimensions, so I want to look by quarter, and then I add in my dimensions like budget amount and the difference amount, which are pre-built, no need to do calculations. Those amounts are instantaneously being updated into the system. You don't have to stop and wait while that kicks in. You then use your standard Excel functionality for formatting your Excel spreadsheet, and you're good to go. You've now got all that data there, and again, you can quickly and easily change the layout of that data and change the formatting. If I want to, I can quickly add a filter and just select to look only at a specific quarter, and again you'll see how that instantaneously gets updated. So that's a quick look at two of the components, just how quick the new SAP HANA dashboards are. Actually, it was three components. We also took a look at the Crystal Reports, and we also took a look there at the interactive analysis being driven with Microsoft Excel. So let's take a look at the second component, and this is where we've taken, again, existing functionality in SAP Business One. We're now powering that with SAP HANA, and what that's now doing is giving us the ability to present the information in your SAP Business One system in a whole new way. For those of you who are familiar with the enterprise search today, you'll know that when you do enterprise search, you retrieve one data value at a time, if you like. You retrieve the customer. Then you decide, what do I want to look at? Do I want to look at the invoices, the sales orders? Do I want to look at the payments? What do I want to look at? Well, now with SAP Business One Enterprise Search, because it's running on SAP HANA, we no longer have to do each one of those at a time. When you select the values that you wish to look at. When you select, for example, a business partner, we retrieve every related document for that business partner and render it into the system for you. So it gives you a seamless Business One client experience because it's the same as what you're using today. It now gives us that hierarchical search in all the SAP Business One modules that are almost pre-populated. Full text search for all the business object types, business partners, inventory items, purchase orders, sales orders, they're all there. The ability to then narrow down your options on each business object type. It links to the SAP Business One form so you can quickly jump to the underlying transaction. It's compliant with the SAP Business One data ownership concept, so if you don't have access to a particular area because that's been blocked, then HANA will not let you see that same data. We ease navigation with the business object map, and we take our reporting and printing and we power that off the back end of the enterprise search as well. Let's take a look at an example. So the scenario I'm going to give you here is Jason is an account representative of OEC Computers. He just got a call from his customer reference number 256789, and the customer's asked him when the orders for the month will be delivered. Jason's going to use Enterprise Search to search that customer reference number and find all the related business objects. He's then going to filter the search results just by accounts receivable invoice type and then narrow down to only show open invoices and the recent month. He'll select the first invoice, link to the related data, and then he'll find that the related delivery is scheduled for 15th of December, so he answers the customer that the goods will arrive in 2 days. Let's take a look. So here we are. I'm Jason Butler. I'm in SAP Business One. I'm now looking at my cockpit and the customer has picked up the phone and given me a call. So I go in and I put in the customer document reference number. I hit search. Now you can immediately see here that what we've done is we have retrieved all of the transactions, and not just the sales invoices, but all of the other associated documents, the sales deliveries, the sales orders, everything's been retrieved. Everything that has that same customer reference number is all automatically pulled in and ready for me to drill down on and look at any point in time. I'm going to narrow it down now and only look at a certain range of due dates. I'm going to specify my status, and again, hopefully you picked up there, and let me just pause for a second, hopefully you picked up there how quickly that data is being updated. So then I'm going to select sales deliveries. I click on the sales delivery and I can see that my order is going to be delivered in 2 days. So incredibly quick and incredibly powerful. Let's take a look at that one more time just to make sure it's very clear what's happening. This time I'm not going to pause. I put in my customer reference number. I hit search. It immediately pulls in every transaction. I choose my layout. I pick my sales invoices. I specify the range of dates that I want to look at. I then say I only want to look at open transactions. I click on Find Related. It brings those in. I then look at the sales delivery. One click, I can see it's due for delivery on the 15th. I answer the customer. They're off the phone and I'm ready to go on with the next piece of work. Incredibly fast, incredibly powerful. Let's look at the next area, which is the content that we've built. Because, as I said when we started, one of the things that we heard was that you wanted more pre-built content available so you could quickly start getting a return on your investment. What have we done? We've migrated the most calculation-intensive crystal reports across to SAP HANA, and there's 4 of those. We've migrated the 3 current dashboards that are available today, and we moved those across to run on SAP HANA. In addition to that, we've also built 4 new dashboards. We've built 8 new semantic layers that are delivering across the finance, sales, and inventory module. And over time, we will continue to deliver more of that. The content that we're building is focused on making sure that we expose out a number of these key business processes. So in addition to the crystal reports and dashboards, we're delivering these predefined semantic layers that you can then do your own ad hoc interactive analysis via Excel and do your own rapid content development based on these dimensions and measures. So let's take a look at them. In the financials module, the dashboards, receivables aging and cash flow forecast. 4 semantic layers: aging, cost center analysis, P&L analysis, and liquidity analysis. In the sales and marketing area, 2 dashboards, sales and delivery analysis, 2 crystal reports, the periodic sales analysis by customer and the customer open list, and a new semantic layer, sales opportunity analysis. For purchasing to go hand in hand with the new purchasing functionality we have in SAP Business One, purchase quotations in the dashboard. In the inventory module, inventory status, a critical thing to track if you are in a business that sells inventory items. And many businesses who sell high volumes at low margins will find this kind of information invaluable. The inventory turnover analysis report in Crystal Reports. If you've got 100,000 inventory items, you can generate your inventory turnover analysis report in seconds instead of hours. The semantic layer, the inventory turnover analysis semantic layer that then allows you to go ahead and build your own interactive analysis off the top of that. From a service module perspective, the service call dashboard, we've moved across to HANA. And then what we call cross-module, we've built a new crystal report, which is a monthly customer report, which pulls together a summary of all the transactions for that customer: orders, invoices, payments, and returns. Now, I talked a lot about the semantic layer, and this is really about providing that underlying infrastructure that helps you use interactive analysis, which is really about empowering you as a business user. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a couple of demonstration scenarios of how 2 different business users would utilize interactive analysis. Our first one is Richard, that's me. Let's say I'm the sales manager of OEC Computers. I want to do an ad hoc analysis of my sales prior to the monthly sales meeting. I'm going to select the sales analysis option from interactive analysis inside SAP Business One, which is where I live. I then select the relevant customer, profit, and sales dimensions into my Excel pivot table. I then decided I want to know the details by business partner category, by month and year. Now I've got the information I want. I can then drill down and see the individual business partners. Let's dive in and take a look. I'm here inside SAP Business One in my standard user interface, except now I have this new interactive analysis area, and you'll see I have sales opportunity and sales revenue analysis. Let's go. So I'm going to choose sales revenue analysis. It automatically opens up that option inside Excel. I now have the pivot table that I'm able to work with. I'm going to specify which values I want because I've already selected that I'm looking at my customer information. So across here, you can see I have my customer categories. So I'm going to choose my gross profit. So let's do that. I'm going to say I also want to see my sales amount. I want to look at that on the basis of the posting year. So that's going to be my column. And also my posting month. I can then drill down on that customer category and see the specific details of all of my customers. And once again, as soon as I click on that drill down, there is no round tripping back to the database. It's incredibly, well, there actually is round tripping back to the database, but it's so incredibly fast, the information appears to be instantaneous. Why? Because again, rather than having to go back to a mechanical hard disk, execute the query, pull that data out and represent it, it's all coming straight from memory. The solution has been designed to be quick to implement because we've built this semantic layer which is easy to extend. We've got these predefined models and you can see over here on the right hand side, this is what we call the SAP HANA Studio, which is where you can build your own additional cubes utilizing the semantic layer. So we've got some predefined models: cost center analysis, cost account versus financial accounting, budget and aging analysis, inventory turnover analysis, and a whole range of new capabilities like dynamic cash prediction, giving you the ability to quickly and easily put in different parameters and see what the impact will be on your cash position. Sales opportunity analysis and sales revenue analysis. So the traditional views that you're used to working with, but also we'll be introducing new views and new ways of looking at your data which you can utilize to help you make business decisions, and also potentially new ways of looking at your data which will help you adjust your business model to meet your customers' requirements. Let's take a look at our next demonstration, which is going to be a demonstration of the ad hoc analysis, except this time we're going to look at it from the perspective of a finance professional. So what I'd like to do is take you through the scenario that involves Lisa, who is the finance manager of OEC Computers. Now she wants to quickly find out the current status of her budget usage. So first she's going to select the relevant dimensions and measures. Then she wants to know the budget situation per year and per quarter. But she also wants to change the layout of the report based on her need. For example, she's going to change the quarter dimension to a column instead of a row. Then she wants to narrow it down to only see data for the fourth quarter of 2011. So she's going to change the Excel pivot table to filter accordingly. Let's take a look. We're in Microsoft Excel, and you can see we have our pivot table open, and of course the pivot table is using the ad hoc analysis. So this is what you're looking at here. All these values are coming from the semantic layer inside SAP Business One Analytics powered by SAP HANA. Let's go and have a look at the demonstration. First thing we're going to do is we're going to scroll down, pick our scenario, which is our budget scenario, and we're going to look at our year, and we're also going to want to select our general ledger account. Next thing I want is I'm going to select my measures. So I want my budget amount in the system currency and the actual amount in the system currency. And then I also want the future amount in the system currency as well. The difference amount, again a calculation already performed in the semantic layer, no need to do it in here. Now, all of those values immediately come in. I can then start doing my magic with Excel, start formatting my values. Now I want to narrow it down, so I'm going to narrow it down by quarter, and I want to change that dimension, and I want to make my quarter a column. I move across into Excel. I'm happy with that. Quite a lot of information in here, and again, every time I make that change, it's being instantaneously updated. I'm going to free some panes just so I can make my data a little bit easier to navigate through. And now I want to filter on my quarter, but I also want to filter on my year. First thing, I'll say I'll look at Q4. Immediately that information is updated. Next thing I want to do is I now want to filter on my year as well. So I drag my year up into the filter. I'm looking at all years right now, so Q4 for every year. In this case, I'm going to now narrow it down, and I just want to look at 2010. So I'll select that. So now I'm just looking at Q4 of 2010. Actually, let's change that. Let's make it 2011. But again, the key with this is how quickly the underlying information is being refreshed into my pivot table. So I'm able to quickly and easily change the dimensions, change the measures, move things around, move them from being rows to columns. In the past, when I was working with large data sets, that would potentially take quite a long time. Or I might have to bring it all into Excel and then work with it in an Excel. Well, now with SAP Business One Analytics powered by SAP HANA, I can work directly from the data source, directly from Excel. One of the things that our customers and small businesses generally have said is that they want to make sure that they don't have to learn a whole new set of tools and they don't have to spend a lot of time building new content. So what we've done is we have built crystal reports and dashboards on the HANA database, but we've built those utilizing exactly the same tools that you're familiar with today with SAP Business One. Crystal reports and SAP Crystal Dashboard design. Now it's a very seamless process. Why? Well, we're using the same version of Crystal Reports 2008 SP5. The runtime that we use for Crystal Reports provides exactly the same user experience. The content management process inside SAP Business One of managing your reports, allocating reports to users, allocating reports to the different forms and so on, all of that stays exactly the same. But from a design time perspective, all you need to do is choose whether or not you're going to use HANA views or procedures, or you're going to use a direct query as the data source. Now, when you've selected to use HANA, you can't do a direct query over the B1 tables in HANA. Why? Because again, you're using that semantic layer. From the dashboards, the runtime is the same experience. The design process is the same user experience, and the content management is the same user experience but without B1I. Now, just to give you an indication of how simple this is, if you have built a dashboard, all you need to do to take that dashboard and set it up to run on top of HANA, in the info.xml component of the dashboard package, there's a meta tag which you set, and that meta tag is IMDb. You flag that as a yes, and then suddenly the dashboard now knows to go and retrieve that information from HANA. It couldn't be simpler. For you as a customer or a potential customer, this in-memory technology is really about driving new business opportunities. And we're seeing this across businesses of all sizes today as our large and mid-sized enterprise customers start to take advantage of what HANA is enabling them to do. First thing is that the in-memory technology is enabling us to address some known pain points with SAP Business One. We know, for example, that when you're working with very large data sets, there are some performance constraints. That database size does have an impact. We know that for many people, that whole process of having to have those aggregates built, that aggregation layer rather provided by B1I, is a little bit redundant. We know as well that there's limited flexibility in that drill down. And we know that some of those batch jobs do consume a lot of resources. So this in-memory computing approach is going to help us address all of those. But for me, and for many people I talk to, the most exciting aspect of what in-memory technology is about, it's about creating new value for your business with new applications. Being able to leverage consumer and device-related data. Being able to do sophisticated, but at the same time interactive forecasting and simulation. So for example, that liquidity planning that I was talking about, that cash forecasting that I was talking to you about earlier. Great examples of what this new in-memory technology allows. And integrated business planning, planning on the fly. That's really where the power of in-memory computing will drive that additional business value. I want to drill down and give you a little bit more detail on that example that I gave, this new SAP Business One application, which is about payment optimization and liquidity forecasting. This is giving you the ability to start going back into your historical data and quickly recalculating all of the necessary parameters so that you can forecast your accounts receivable based on that historical data. It will enable you to do your liquidity forecasting to ensure you've got healthy operations in your business, to know when you're going to encounter that cash flow crunch, if you like. It also allows you to do multiple what-if scenarios very, very quickly on the fly to determine the best payment strategy to maximize any discounts when it's time for you to do your payment runs. And it also helps you identify when it's the right time to go out and choose financing services. So it gives you the ability to then say, okay, at this point in time, I know that I'm going to need to potentially factor my debtors, or I'm going to need to go out and get some additional liquidity backing, or whatever the case may be. And the ability to do those calculations very, very quickly is what drives this new business opportunity. Without getting into too much detail on the technical aspect of the solution, I would like to give you just a quick overview for those of you who are watching the presentation who do have a little bit of a technical bent. So what we're doing today is we're delivering SAP Business One with the HANA database in what we call a hybrid solution architecture. Today, with SAP Business One, we have our dashboard packages, our master data, and our transaction data sitting in SQL Server. The Business One client application and applications like Crystal Reports accessing that data directly via ODBC. What we'll be doing as we move into the future is we will have the replication service that I told you about earlier, connecting to the SQL Server database using the Java database connector, and pulling that data into the HANA database server. So inside HANA, we'll have master data, transaction data, and also the semantic layer is stored. Then we have our business tier, which consists of a number of different services: the analytics service, the freestyle search, the configuration, authentication, and authorization services. Sitting on top of that is the web tier, our Java pages and the dashboards and Flash. And all of this is being fed by the Tomcat server. Everything that you see over here is what forms our analytics server, which again we deliver as the appliance. And then you can access that information using a web browser, using Microsoft Excel, or using those tools that you're familiar with today, Crystal Reports, the Business One client application through the cockpits, as well as freestanding Crystal dashboard design built dashboards. One important thing that's worth noting is that the semantic layer, these OLAP cubes, not only does it consist of analytic views, but it also consists of calculation views. So we have pre-built some of these views to do some of these calculations, taking the data which resides in different tables, taking inventory information together with customer information, together with supplier information, and putting all of that down into a single calculation view. The great thing about these OLAP cubes, or this semantic layer, is that it can be consumed by both SAP and partner applications, which gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the ability to access that out of the box with the SAP solution, but also as our partners build specific applications, or for you as a customer, if you wish to build a specific application to meet your requirements, you'll be able to access those semantic layers. The good news is that we've been working on the SAP Business One Analytics for quite a few months now. We've run a pilot process, and here's some of the feedback from some of our pilot customers. Hu Peng Chen from Beijing AVA Technologies, who's one of our Business One Gold partners, expresses his opinion that real-time OLAP for the small enterprise market is a niche market with disruptive potential. Why? No one is offering these kinds of solutions today. One of our Business One customers, also in China, Beijing Buan, have said, with the real-time analysis capabilities of the SAP in-memory computing, they can get all their data faster than before. And for many organizations, what I've heard referred to as speeds and feeds, and getting that faster is a real critical issue. Utilizing the in-memory computing technology, they're able to get the relevant business information in seconds with that one-click freestyle search. And they're able to do that without the pain of, if you like, the past process of navigating amongst hundreds of forms searching for data. And that's not just with SAP Business One. That is a challenge which exists with just about every ERP solution on the market today that we're solving with SAP HANA. So with that, I'd like to bring today's presentation to a close. Hopefully now you've got a better understanding of what the SAP Business One Analytics powered by SAP HANA solution is all about. You've got an understanding of the technology behind it, and you've got an understanding of what our plans are to bring it to market. We are entering ramp up in February of 2012. We're going into restricted shipment with the solution. There will be more information being made available to you, so that it will be transparent so you can understand what it is that qualifies you to become one of our restricted shipment customers and take advantage of the SAP HANA solution. And that information will be made available to you through your SAP Business One partner. So the next steps, if you are looking to learn more about the SAP Business One Analytics solution, please reach out to your SAP Business One partner and have a discussion with them and flag your interest early. If you're a potential customer and you're looking at this and thinking about how this will help you in your potential deployment of SAP Business One, again, your main contact is your SAP partner. But of course, I've included my details here. My name is Richard Duffy. You can reach me at richard.duffy@sap.com. And if you have any questions about the solution or any of the information I've talked to you about today, I would encourage you to reach out to me as well, and I will do my best to answer those questions for you. So with that, on behalf of SAP and all of our partners, I'd like to thank you, and I look forward to helping your business become a best run business using SAP Business One and the power of SAP HANA.